is the Fade 5 podcast with Brad Evans and Nate Lundy.
Place your bets, you jackwagons. Brad the Big Noise Evans here, doing my the good stuff live from Nash Vegas. See us one and only Nathaniel Lundy. And I don't have time to spare. It's almost March, for crying out loud. I can't breathe. I don't sleep this time of year. So let's go ahead and hop aboard the Honk Honk Plus Bus here on the Fade 5 podcast. What we always do at the top of every single show. Plus 100 odds are the requirement. Pick your market. Maybe it's something that's going to pay tonight or in the immediate future. What do you got, Lundy?
Let's go ahead and go to tonight. As usual, light schedule on the Friday NHL. Why? Because it's hockey night in Canada tomorrow. So you got to make sure that you get all the games on Saturday, including a couple of really good ones tomorrow. Early, by the way, I think 11:30 Eastern time.
Really?
Tampa and Washington. That is going to be must-watch hockey tomorrow if you're looking for something to watch during the daytime outside of Brad's college basketball. But let's go ahead and jump on it for tonight. There are 3 games this evening, and I'm going to say yes to the gift in all 3 NHL games tonight, and that is simply following the patterns. First and foremost, you got the New York Rangers in action. Nobody has the goal in the first 10 more in the National Hockey League this season than the New York Rangers do. They're taking on Toronto. Toronto has done it in 4 out of their last 5 games, 7 out of their last 10. Then you roll over, you get to the LA Kings and Dallas. Now, this one's a little bit shaky only because the Kings, for the most part this season, have been sub 50% in terms of hitting the gift. However, they are also on a streak where they have done it 7 out of their last 10 games. And then you get to the evening contest tonight, Minnesota and the Colorado Avalanche. Again, 2 teams that do it all the time. So I'm going to say, screw it. Let's go ahead and do it with all 3 games tonight, plus 366 at DK if that happens.
All right, on March Madness Eve, we got to get to a future that is immediately grabbed my attention. And honestly, I have the wrong book, so let me go and update that because the price is just off everywhere you can find this. The University of Georgia, the Bulldogs, sorry, boys. I think you're going to miss the NCAA tournament. Right now, best price of business at DraftKings at an absurd plus 140. Let me go ahead and explain why I think Georgia's coming the outside looking in come Selection Sunday. They're number 37 in the net. Okay, that's a plus. They're number 14 in terms of strength of schedule. Definitely a major plus. But you look at the non-conference strength of schedule at 233. Got to challenge your team outside of league play. The committee has always said that. Mike White didn't do it. So that is an eyesore of the resume. Oh, and it gets much worse. Another black eye. 1-7 straight up on the road this year. That's vomit-inducing to say the least. I know they're coming off that colossal win against the Florida Gators, their 3rd quadrant-1 win of the season, but they're 3-11 against quad 1 competition. I know they play in the rough and rugged SEC. That'll do them somewhat of a favor, and I know they're top 30 in Torvik over the last 30 days, but here's the remaining schedule. At Texas, a holy bubblicious matchup there. Torvik only gives Georgia a 40% chance of winning that game. Why? They won 1 game on the road all year. Remember that, folks. And then at South Carolina, that's no layup. That's no gimme. They have a 60% chance of emerging victorious in that one. And then they finish at home against Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt was on the bubble about 10 days ago. They are firmly in the NCAA tournament field. I got a projected on my bracket big board. The gaming juice right now as a 9 seed. I think they're going to go 2-3 down the home stretch, which means they're going to have to make it. It's imperative they make a deep run in the SEC tournament. I'm not buying it because this team is wildly mediocre despite having a dude named Blue Cane on rosters. So Bulldogs, not going to earn your sausages. I say you miss the NCAA tournament at plus 140 at DraftKings. Take advantage of that mispriced market with those bets on the board. Let's get after it on this Freaky Friday with another edition of the Fade 5.
Number 5.
All right, numero suco here on the countdown. Let's go to another mispriced market in the NCAA tournament make or miss odds, and it's Nebraska. I say the Cornhuskers shuck their way into the postseason and earn that at-large bid. So to make the NCAA tournament, right now it's at plus 110 at DraftKings. By comparison, FanDuel's at minus 140, and that's off This should be like minus 180, minus 200 in my estimation at a minimum. And let me give you the reason why. Okay, they got a terribly bland and mediocre net ranking. But remember the net, even though at 54, is only used as a sorting tool like the old RPI. It's not a be-all, end-all measurement by any stretch of the imagination. Most importantly, 26 in SOS, subpar but decent 183 non-conference strength of schedule, a heck of a lot better than Georgia's 200 plus. 5-6 on the road, so they have one away from Lincoln this year. 5-9 against quadrant one competition. I don't care if they're only 63 in total recover last month. Look at the rest of season schedule. You got a couple of layups in there. Minnesota at home, 79% chance of winning that one according to Torvik. You got at Ohio State, bubbly game there. Probably going to lose it in Columbus. Ohio State, their backs and butts are really firmly pressed against the wall. Only 31% chance of the Huskers in that one. And then they finish with Iowa. The Hawkeyes stink, and they have a 74% chance winning inside Pinnacle Bank. So here's the deal. You go 2-1 over the regular season stretch, win just one game. Just one. That's all I'm asking in the Big Ten tournament, and you're dancing. With relative ease, could be on the 8-9 line in the end because the resume is that strong. So what plus money? Are you joking? Lundy, fade or follow?
I'm just trying to figure out. Look, I told people before, Brad, you know more about the bracketology than I do. You know more than most people. You actually might know, Brad, more than some of the people that are in the room that are trying to decide some of these things, as you well know. And so you put all that together. The fact that it's so mispriced, the fact that you can get some value out of this at plus odds at DK, just like what you were talking about with Georgia, when you're seeing the numbers that are that far off between the books, I think you got to take advantage of it. So much to my wife's chagrin, because she doesn't like the Huskers. I think you're right. I think they make the tournament.
Oh, slap a little butter on that corn on the cob. Roll with the Huskers.
Number 4.
All right, Newmark Watch over here with the Fade 5 countdown. Let's go to a bet that will have a prompt and immediate payoff tonight. And maybe fade me and you'll make some money, and maybe you're going to follow me. I have no idea. Here's how I'm going to play this little same game parlay and the marquee matchup here on a Friday. Friday's always light slates as well in college basketball. This one's got significant meaning, not only in the Big Ten in terms of the Big Ten tournament pecking order, but seeding come Selection Sunday. Played at Mackey Arena, legendary place, put on your damn bucket list. One of the greatest places to watch a basketball game of any variety. So I think the Boilers are going to win. Are they going to lose their 5th straight game? Not at home. But I think UCLA is going to be somewhat competitive. So I'm going to live in the middle on this one. Cue the Jimmy Eat World in the background. On the same game parlay, build at Caesars. Purdue on the money line. All I got to do is win straight up. And UCLA plus 13.5. So Purdue win by 1 to 13 points within that range. It's plus 102 at Caesars and entirely doable in my estimation. Look at Purdue. 36 in Torvik over the last 30 days. Not terrible by any stretch. UCLA much better in that category, number 18, by the way. Purdue also taking care of business offensively at 48 EFG offense. It's their defense that has been god-awful. Number 358 in EFGD over that span where they're giving up 67%. No, that's not me misspeaking. 67% from 2, folks. From 2, doing a better job on perimeter, 30.6%. But Amara, the 7'3" big of UCLA, has kind of come on strong here over the last about 3 weeks. He could eat, man. He could have himself a night in this one. UCLA, subpar 95 EFG offense, 72 in EFG defense. Not a particularly good rebounding team, even with a big man there. And that's okay because Purdue isn't either. I think Braden Smith is arguably one of the best point guards in the nation. Purdue will find a way to win, but they're not going to blow the socks off of UCLA because, again, they're not defending worth a damn inside the arc. So to recap on the SGP, Newmark Watcher on the countdown. Boilermakers, boiler up on the money line, and the Bruins, a whole lot of bees, at plus 13.5, plus 102 at Caesars. Lundy, better follow.
I'm actually going to add one more wrinkle to this, Brad. I'm going to take your SGP from a 2-legger to a 3-legger. I say they score at least 130 points.
Oh, easy.
The
Yep.
standard line is at 138.5. So I'm
Yep.
bringing that down by 8 points. If they can get at least to the 130 mark, and you add that to this two leg, so UCLA to keep it within a baker's dozen, Purdue to actually end that losing streak, but you go ahead and play the point total by bringing it down again over 129.5. You just need at least 130 between the two of them, and you already gave the reasons why when we talk about some of the defense. That actually takes this from plus 102 to plus 148.
Oh, let me unzip the zipper, my friend. That is downright sexy.
Number 3.
All right, Numero Trace here on the Fade 5 Countdown. Let's drop the puck and make some bucks, which means I get to shut up for as long as Lundy needs. I'm going to catch my breath. Take it away, my man.
All right, let's talk about some hockey for tonight. I told you it's a light schedule. The best game, I think, of the weekend is going to be tomorrow morning, early afternoon for those of you on the East Coast, and that's Tampa and Washington. But when you look at the schedule for this evening, I do think, by the way, that the Maple Leafs are going to win in the contest against the Rangers, but I'm going to skip this one for purposes of this two-legger. I just need the money line here. We'll take advantage of the Colorado Avalanche, who are thrilled with the fact that Valeri Nichushkin is back. He's only played 22 games this season as he's been dealing with injuries and the suspension that he had. But he is back, and this has been the shot in the arm that they've needed, especially from an offensive standpoint. I can tell you right now, whatever his shots on goal props for tonight against the Wild are, my guess is it's 2.5. I would take the over in that one because he is inserting himself right back into this offense immediately, and they've needed him with that big trade that they made with Mikko Rantanen going to the Carolina Hurricanes. They got Natchez back in the deal, which has been perfect for them, especially on the power play, but they've needed Valeri Nichushkin back on the ice, and so I think Colorado picks up the victory, but they are way heavy favorites tonight against Minnesota. It's like minus 330. So what are we going to do? We're going to take advantage of Dallas at home against the Kings. I already told you that I like them to buck the trend that they've had for the season, especially the Kings, in getting the yes gift. But in this particular case, when you're facing off against the Kings, the Kings, if you follow some of the other folks that do the hockey picks tonight, the Kings are a popular underdog pick for tonight in this light schedule. And it's because Dallas's numbers have come down, especially in their defensive numbers, because Miro Heiskanen has been out with an injury. I understand that, but this is still the Dallas Stars. They are still at home. They have a great home ice advantage. I think they get it done. This game might wind up going to overtime, but I do think that Dallas manages to get it done. So if you put these two together, again, heavy favorite Colorado, minus 330, minus 340, but let's pair it up with Dallas to also get a victory at home. This one jumps up to a plus 125. You can put that together over at DraftKings.
Ooh, I like it quite a bit. I love that plus money, to say the least. And hey, you want some more picks? Of course you do. We got them at thegamingjuice.com. You jackals, it's 100% free. Yeah, you don't have to pay a dime to sign up on that website. My bracketology, the bracket big board, I'm updating it like 5-6 times a day. This time every single day. So make sure you track that as I'm moving teams up and down. The bracket projection, the NCAA tournament selection Sunday right around the corner. We're going to have all kinds of March Madness content we're going to be churning out. I'm churning out pick pieces every other day as well, doing some more write-ups on some of those NCAA tournament futures. So get that and check out Lundy's awesome, always free, always transparent spreadsheet. And Brandon Velasquez trending out some additional NHL content as well. All at thegamingjuice.com. Go there now. What excuse do you have? You have zero. Click, converse, and cash. ... Maybe.
Number 2.
All right, numero dos here on the Fade 5 Countdown. Let's go to Evanston, Illinois, about 3 hours up the road from Casa de Evans, here in the land of corn, soybeans, and swine. I'm going to go with the well-educated Northwestern Wildcats there at home, even without Barnheiser. He's done for the year. I'm going to lay the 4.5 against, the Iowa Hawkeyes. I already said they suck, so let's just stick to that belief. It's a lighter juice, minus 102. I saw there at FanDuel, and I'm like, why? I will take advantage of that, please, and thank you. We look at Northwestern, a team that's, despite having right around a 500 record, playing better ball than some people believe. They're number 47 in Torvik over the last 30 days. Yeah, they play at a slow, methodical pace, number 312 at adjusted tempo. And yeah, okay, they're only 221 EFG offense, 263 in EFG defense in the last 30 days. But they get a ton of second chance opportunities to really crash that offensive glass. And then you look at Iowa, 85 right now in Torvik in their last 30 days. Offensively, subpar, especially compared to previous iterations like under the Garza teams. Man, they got buckets galore. Not the same version, not even the same class and the same parking lot as this version of Iowa basketball. They're also number 358. Let me repeat that. 358 in EFG defense over the last month. They're giving out 57.8% from two and 38.1% from three. They're all for the glass. That spread scheme that Fran McCaffrey runs really leaves lanes open. You can take advantage of them. I think Northwestern's going to get downhill. The kickout game is going to be on point. They're going to beat Iowa, and I think they're going to cover the 4.5. I got them winning by around 7 to 9 points in this one at Welsh Ryan Arena, minus 102 at FanDuel. By the way, Welsh Ryan, I am told, might have the best popcorn in the Big Ten. I've got some inside sources on that. Lundy, fade or follow.
Wait a minute. You just buried the lead. Why do they have the best popcorn?
Danny Klobuchar, my former esteemed co-host on Live Align, she's a bit of a venue popcorn connoisseur, so to speak. She tries it everywhere she goes. And she said, bar none, Northwestern takes the cake. It's not remotely close. So if you go to Welsh Ryan, if you're in Evanston, go buy a $5 ticket and buy a $5 box of popcorn, no matter how crappy the product is on the court.
That's insane. Why is this is what she's decided to do? Just figure out who has the best. Like, is she taste testing this stuff? Does she have a notebook?
Yeah.
I need to know more about this.
Yeah, she does. It's very long and lengthy. I think she should really start a blog about just the popcorn.
It feels like there's a like a coffee table book waiting to happen here. Is really what I think. Yeah, I'll roll with Northwestern with you on this one. I do think it's. I think they can win it. 4.5 might be a little bit tight. I'd like it better if it was about 2.5. Maybe it's an alt line type of thing. Maybe you just take Northwestern on the money line, put it together with something else in a parlay. That 4.5 might be a little bit tight, but I think you can get away with it. Minus 102 at FanDuel is pretty solid.
Ooh, salt, butter. Oh, popcorn. You're delicious.
Number 1.
All right, numero uno here on the Fave 5 countdown. Let's go to the Smarty Pants League, that being the Ivy. And it's my top play of the night, and I'm sure Lundy's got a hot and heavy opinion about this one. Penn and Cornell, the Big Red, pop that little piece of gum in her mouth and, smack away. I like the over. 159.5. I know it's sky high. It's at a minus 110 there at BetMGM. But let me give you the reason why I am all over this. I think it's off by about 5 points. Penn is terrible. The Quakers definitely shooting blanks, which is just living down, I guess, or up. To their team nickname, a bunch of pacifists. You look at Penn, 148 in tempo, 319 EFG offense. EFG defense outside the top 300 as well. They're giving up 1.158 points per possession, 53.8% from two, 34.9% from three over the last 30 days. They're 295 at Torvik during that same stretch. You look at Cornell, a very good offensive team and a team that loves to zip, get up and down the floor. And Penn is willing to run as well. Cornell, 33 in the nation in adjusted tempo over the last 30 days, 165 in EFG offense, shooting 52.9% from two, only 33% from outside. But if you look at the trends, and if you believe it's going to be thy friend, the over in this series, going back last couple of years, has hit in 4 of the last 5 meetings. Cornell has gone over in 6 of its last 10 games. Go ahead and kick away the Air Monarchs and strap on the old track shoes, because this one is going to be a high possession affair. It's going to lead to one conclusion and one conclusion only in this pea-sized brain of mine, and that is the over. Penn, Cornell, 159.5. Number 1 here on the Fave 5 countdown on a Friday, minus 110 at BetMGM. Lundy, give me all the gory details.
No. I'm not doing that. Penn and Court. Wow. He's digging, folks. He's digging deep on this
Friday. There ain't shit on the board. I got to dig.
Yes, I know. It's the same thing for me. I only got 3 hockey games to choose from. Tomorrow we can do all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
Tonight I'm like, meh, I don't know. Nichushkin shots on goal. I mean, I'm making stuff up at this point. Come on, people.
Yeah, it is. That's what we're going to do. And we're going to make up some more bets, and we're going to have some early leans on the weekend action. It's bonus time. Lundy, whether in the NHL, maybe you got NBA play, maybe you're looking ahead of college basketball. I know your wife is a giant Kansas Jayhawks fan. They got a big one inside the fog against Texas Tech. Are they actually going to show up? Have they gotten right after beating up on Oklahoma State and Colorado? What do you got?
Yeah, I'm staying far away from that, but that's primarily because if I look this direction, I can see her.
Oh.
And, Brad, we've talked about it before. Sometimes I can get away with whatever we say about the Jayhawks because she doesn't always listen or watch the podcast. But this time she's actually sitting right over here. So let's not talk about the Jayhawks right now, okay? Let's not talk about the Jayhawks.
Rock talk!
Brad's waving. Okay, let me get to this evening. This one, the Nuggets are on a back-to-back. They just lost to Milwaukee. Now they got to take on the Detroit Pistons. The fascinating thing is that Denver is 10-1 straight up on the second night of a back-to-back. It's pretty amazing what they have done, but this is a different Detroit team, especially with their defense. Detroit's favored by 2 in this one. I don't know that I'm going to pay much attention to the money line or to the spread in this one. However, I do think that the total is off. The total right now is set at 238.5, which I think is way too high. I'm going to play the under between the Pistons and the Nuggets tonight on the 238.5. I think this thing is off because when these two teams played earlier this year, they combined for 255. I do not see that happening tonight in the Motor City, and so I'm going to play the under between Denver and Detroit. Over on the ice, looking for somebody to find the back of the net. I know it's a little bit cliche, but let's go to Toronto and let's talk about Austin Matthews. Give me him to find the back of the net. I think he's at like a plus 125 tonight for an anytime goal. I already gave you my other one earlier on, taking the shots on goal with Valeri Nichushkin. Take the over on the 2.5 for him, just because I do believe, like I said, he's getting back, he's involved, and he's happy to be back out there on the ice for the Avs. Give me 2 seconds. I'm going to tell you what the odds are on that. Oh, hey, Brad, it's even money. It's plus favorite. So grab that one. That's over at DK as well. Play the over in that one. But a light slate tonight for hockey. We'll be talking about some stuff tomorrow. I'll put it up on the spreadsheet for everybody. But for now, yield the floor to the fine gentleman from Illinois.
All right, let's go with the Team Huevos parlay play on this Friday. A little two-leg action. I'm going to keep it very simple. Give me the Fighting John Grosses, former Illinois head coach, doing a really good job with the Akron Zips. They're the front runner. And then making it Mac, daddy, and that's exactly who they are. I think they're going to win their game straight up against Kent State at home. And then take an alt line. App State Marshall on the total. Going to jack it up to 140.5 and slam that under. I will reserve the juice. Let me give the explanation why I'm running both of these plays. Going back to Akron, they're not playing as well as the Golden Flashes here last month. 129 versus 94, according to the overall rankings here at Torvik. But Akron's been really stuff of the stat sheet in terms of offensive production. 26 in EFG offense in the last 30 days. They're shooting 61.7% inside the arc. They're definitely torching the twine there. And you look at Kent State, 108 in EFGD, subpar. 170 in three-point D, equally subpar. And Akron loves to jack the three, and they get a lot of the second chance opportunities. That's why they clean up inside, because a lot of easy conversions there. 44.6% of the Zip shots have come from way downtown over last month. I don't know if they're going to cover, but I think Akron scores the win, and that's all I need on the money line. Meanwhile, App State and Marshall living in the land down under on App State, and that Marshall total, and that's an alt line at 140.5. So jack that up to avoid any, build a cushion to avoid any kind of pushing. Both these teams are, relatively inept offensively. Marshall loves to play at a faster pace. App State 347 in tempo. I think the difference will be split there. Probably going to be north of a 200 tempo kind of game. And App State, excellent defensively at 61 EFGD. Marshall, no slouches at 167 in that category. So a little bit slower in terms of pace kind of game, defensive minded. That's why, Hazelmetrics and Torvik and Ken Palm and Evan Mia, they all got this in low 130s. So building in that cushion, I think is going to do me a solid. So to recap, the team Huevos parlay play, little two-legger. Akron, moneyline, App State, Marshall, under 140.5. That shakes out to a plus 133 juice. Kind of sexy there at DraftKings Sportsbook. Elsewhere, bonus time. We're taping this late morning on a Friday, so lines haven't dropped yet for Saturday, but I'm going to be on Kentucky against Auburn. That one being played in Lexington. My guess is that Auburn's going to come out probably a 4.5 point favorite in that matchup. But Big Blue Nation is fully healthy. Lamont Butler's back. Jackson Robinson's back. I understand. They are giving up all kinds of points around the basket. And Janiah Broome, Lundy, I don't know if you saw it. The Wood Award market flipped about 2 days ago. He is the heavy favorite now, minus 275 at BetMGM. Cooper Flagg at plus 210. Janiah Broome may go out and get like 30 and 15 in this game. But I think the other ancillary players on Auburn may struggle because offensively, they're only number 95 EFG offense in the last 30 days. Kentucky can really fill up the cup. Otega Oweh was masterful in Norman. And again, with Butler and Robinson back, with Amari Williams down the post, they got cars. I mean, they got gunners everywhere at all points of the floor. So I think Kentucky at home in Lexington will cover against Auburn. No, I'm not going to touch Kansas and Texas Tech because I want to offend your wife. And honestly, I have no idea what version of the Jayhawks is going to show up. I will probably be on Tennessee at home, depending upon what that line is against Alabama. Another monster game in the SEC. Both these teams trying to vie for that number one seed line. But Tennessee, their calling cards, a fantastic defense. They're only giving up 33% last 30 days from distance. And Chaz Lanier, could match Sears or greatly outdistance them bucket for bucket in this game. I know Alabama, they live and die by the three. This could be one of those die scenarios. So for me, I like Tennessee in that game, and I might take the under as well. If it's extraordinarily high and like the high 150s, I think it will tuck under that total. And then finally, whatever Duke is favored by against Florida State, I think Torvik's got him winning by 24. Ken Palm right around the same. So my guess is that line's going to be 23.5 to 25.5. It could be 30.5. And a tack on another 300.5. And I'm still going to lay with the Blue Devils at home against Florida State. Why? Duke is a God-blessed wagon right now, and they just keep covering these mammoth lines, and I still can't wake up from the stupid nightmare of my Fighting Illini last weekend and lost by their worst margin ever in school history in 43 points. Oh, yeah, inside the Mecca. Way to show up, boys, on the national stage. So, Duke, I'm laying it, whatever the number is. Lundy, your final thought.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that one. They have just been an absolute out of control train going downhill and just mowing teams down. So yeah, I think you're probably safe with whatever that number comes out at.
Yeah, and I'm going to have about 10 billion plays tomorrow. It's been a break-even week for me. I've been profitable like 6 or 7 straight weeks, so the gambling gods are like, yeah, enough is enough.
Yeah, you're done.
We've got to exact our revenge, which means I'll probably have like 15 tickets open tomorrow. I'll play some live lines as well, and I'm going to get my ass kicked. So I would encourage you, as I always say, fade or follow, that is up to you. You might want to fade me tomorrow because I'm going to regress to the mean, though. I'm up over 106 units on the season, which is just insane, the membrane. So an all-time year for me, to say the least. By the way, if you want to check out those free picks and Lundy's free picks, go to thegamingjuice.com right now and sign up for a free account. Also, drop us a rating and a review on this podcast, would you kindly? Fade or follow us on the X, where Lundy's always giving it to you there at Nate Lundy. I'm doing the same at Noisy Huevos. All right, we got an exit stage left. As always, fade or follow. That is up to you. And I suggest fading hard.